Hello and welcome to a timeless synchronicity reading for the Myers-Briggs type ENTJ. Welcome, ENTJ. This channel, Entpgathering, is a channel I created for the MBTI community to take part in these readings as an intuitive exercise, an exercise that will give you information on how the cognitive functions work in your particular MBTI, and also how you can gain flexibility in these cognitive functions so that you can further explore the different sides of you. What do I mean by that? I mean to say that your cognitive function stack as an ENTJ is extroverted thinking, introverted intuition, sensing, and introverted feeling. This is an egoic stack of cognitive functions. And it's important to know, members of the MBTI community and my dear lovely ENTJs, that this cognitive stack represents your ego. But did you know that you have a shadow self and a set of shadow functions, and also you have a subconscious set of functions and also a superego set of functions that you have access to if you learn to flex your egoic cognitive stack as an ENTJ. What do I mean by this? And how best can you use this reading? Think of it as an intuitive exercise where you will look for synchronicities in this reading and the information that I'm sharing with you that come through tarot cards, oracle cards, and within the tarot, there is astrology and numerology. All of this, all this information, I hope, will spark your intuitive function of introverted intuition so that you can better discern what energy is yours and what is not yours, and how best to cognitively flex your cognitive function stack so that you can drop into the shadow functions consciously. So, look for synchronicities in this reading. What do I mean by synchronicity? Well, it's a term that Carl Jung himself coined. It's probably understood by you as coincidence. Well, I'm here to tell you, and it's something that Jung found out himself as he was going through his own ego death process, dropping into his ego functions. He was an INFJ, for those of you who aren't aware. And after he developed the theory of cognitive functions, he was able to drop into his own shadow functions. He was able to drop into his own subconscious cognitive functions to access parts of himself that needed to be brought into the light and replace any sort of stuck energy in his ego, right? So, I will be using 2 decks today in this reading, and I will start out with pulling 3 cards from this oracle deck, and we're going to take a look at what energy, what synchronicity, what's going on in your life by looking at your root chakra energy, your sacral chakra energy, and your solar plexus. I will then move on to using a full set of tarot cards, which are comprised of 78 cards. Each are assigned an element, a number, and an astrological sign. So you find within this astrology, numerology, and synchronicities. So as I explain, if you're new to tarot, which I'm assuming most of you are, I'll explain how cognitive functions match our elemental energies of air, fire, water, and earth. Those elements are, of course, in astrology, and also astrology incorporates numerology into an entire system that Jung himself used to support his journey through the hero's journey, or the individuation process, or an ego death experience. He was able, I consider him to be the father of subconscious exploration. He split from Freud, who had developed the archetypes of the ego, superego, and the id. He created the shadow part of the ego and broke away from Freud's trajectory of exploring the subconscious, and really took the lead in exploring the subconscious through dream work, through archetypes, through symbology, through astrology, and also through divination and tarot cards. So, one last thing. The tarot deck is comprised of 78 cards, and 22 of them are the hero's journey. They're called the major arcana. Then you have 16 court cards, which represents the masculine and feminine energy in each of the elements. And each court element, each king and queen has a knight and a page. We'll talk about the meanings of those cards. And then there are 44 minor arcana cards, which represent or will give you information on what is currently going on in your life, day to day, week to week, month to month, in the short term, as opposed to the major arcana, which shows major chapters in your life that you're moving through energetically, psychically, and spiritually on your hero's journey. So, without further ado, let's get into your energy, my lovely Entj. And so let's go over your cognitive function stack. Your dominant function is extroverted thinking. This is about, it's a judging function, it's a rational function. ENTJs are known for being the architects of groups of people and systems that are in the 3D world. ENTJs are known to be great leaders, entrepreneurs, and leaders that are take great responsibility for their friends, their family, their society, their company. You're incredibly adept at managing and restructuring these structures in your life, usually associated with business, but not always. As a leader, you could be a spiritual leader, you can be a politician, or your work, or your life's purpose might be, and most likely is, involved around some sort of leadership role. Your dominant function of extroverted thinking gives you the ability to pinpoint systems that work and systems that do not. So you're quick to judge what is working, how it works, and how best to then change that system to make it work for your intended goals. Your second function, or auxiliary function, is your introverted intuition. Your tertiary function is sensing, and your inferior function is introverted feeling. Your shadow MBTI is that of the INTP. You may find that you enjoy INTPs. Some are friends, or they could be, because they are the shadow type of the ENTJ, sometimes individuals that are in your life that are there to reflect that shadow self back to you. And this is the reason why you may or may not be drawn to INTP. There's a great, or maybe intuitive knowing that there's a connection between an ENTJ and an INTP, but you can't quite put it in words. Your subconscious egoic stack as an ENTJ is that of the ISFP. And your superego, where we go when we're kind of stressed out and overwhelmed, it's sort of default fight mode rather than flight, is that of the ESFJ. So check out those MBTI types for an understanding of how, or a recognition that those types are actually a part of you, that you may not have explored if you, up until this reading or this information is being brought to you here, shared with you, you may have been rigid in staying with your egoic cognitive stack. Know that these readings and this intuitive exercise is created so that you can learn to discern what energy is yours and what is not yours, and understand the different energies that may lie dormant within you, that if you tap in to, can release a lot of energies that you can then replace or put in place in your egoic cognitive functioning by learning how to flex your ENTJ cognitive functions. So take only what resonates. Not every message or bit of information that comes through this reading is going to be meant for you. This is a general collective reading. I'm tapping into all ENTJs here, and if you've clicked on this video and take part in this reading, know that there will be a message in here for you, but it's the art of discernment that you're developing to know which messages to take, ruminate on, reflect on, and grow from. So in this particular synchronicity oracle deck, and by the way, Jung coined the term synchronicity. Most people think of synchronicity as coincidence, but when Jung went through his individuation process, through his hero's journey, he used tarot, he used astrology, he used other typology systems other than his own cognitive functions theory. He combined them all, as I'm doing now, to show you that there is a very strong connection, correlation between how you think, how you use your cognitive function preferences, and astrology and numerology. So this deck by Etan Ilfeld is called the Synchronicity Oracle. It's comprised of 57 different images or archetypes, symbols, and what I'm looking for here is the connection between, or the one symbol that connects your three cards. And the first card out is root chakra energy. The root chakra is all about where we hold our sense of safety and security. It's where fear, anxiety reside. It's earth energy, so it's important that your root chakra is grounded because it forms the foundation for the remaining chakras, which we will take a look at the energies of all 7 chakras using the full tarot deck. But for now, let's just tap into the first 3 chakras, because if these are not balanced, then it's very difficult to move into your heart chakra, and then into your throat chakra, and third eye, and crown chakra. So, root chakra image that connects to the sacral chakra, which is feminine water energy. This is our sacred sexuality. This is our creativity and feminine energy. Everybody has a masculine and a feminine inside. And what tarot, what astrology, what cognitive functions theory teaches us, and the individuation process, this hero's journey, is that to balance our masculine and feminine is the main goal of this kind of work, this ego death process, where we can rid ourselves of patterns of behaviors, traits that are present in our ego that no longer serve us. And understanding our shadow functions, we can dip into those functions as an INTP, being your shadow functions, and pull out those parts of ourself that were not allowed to develop in our formative years. Cognitive function preferences are established by the age of 14. And I consider and feel, from my own experience as a MBTI certified practitioner and an NLP programming practitioner, as a psychic reader, I found that once I tapped into my own ego and understood the subjective experience of using my cognitive preferences, it was so easy, or much easier for me, to gain flexibility in my egoic cognitive preferences, to allow me to drop into my shadow self, to allow me to safely, consciously choose to flex my egoic preferences to drop into my subconscious. And also know that when I am under stress, that I resort to superego energy. For you, that's the ESFJ, that comes from a lot of anxiety and fear or overreaction. So in my own individuation process, which started when I began to learn the cognitive functions separately, and then identify how my preferences were working in my life and what results I was getting out of them, I quickly discovered that, oh wow, this information allowed me to drop into my shadow functions, allowed me to drop into my subconscious much easier and without as much anxiety. Because our ego is formed, and our preferences in the egoic cognitive preference stack is there to protect us. It's there to make us feel safe and literally support and feed our egoic self, which is innately masculine or inherently masculine. Our shadow functions are feminine. Any preferences that are introverted are going to be feminine, and anything extroverted is going to be masculine. So finding the balance between those two energies, or at least, at the very least, recognizing that both energies are present within the function and present within each of us allows us to marry that masculine and feminine or achieve more balance between those energies. So if the first three chakras are not balanced, if one is overblown, or we're stuck in one and not giving enough energy to create a flow between the three, then that's when we get stuck and might feel lost or confused about the happenings in our life or how we feel about ourselves. So without further ado, the root chakra image that connects to the sacral chakra is the Bunsen burner. Interesting as an Entj. So root, sacral, we see that the connecting image is the Bunsen burner. So I'm picking up alchemical processes which fit perfectly with this type of work, this individuation work, this ego exploration, the shadow exploration. Alchemically speaking, it is a change in the elements of which you're comprised, and a change that is going to balance the masculine and feminine energies within you. So, root chakra, earth energy. It's our place of security and foundation. Sacral is feminine, water energy. And it is our intuition. It's our feminine expression of creativity and sacred sexuality as well. And then that moves into the solar plexus, masculine fire energy, the masculine in each of us. The solar plexus is how we express our intuition, how we express our root energy of security or anxiety or fear. The connecting image from the sacral to the solar plexus here is that of the zero. See this? It looks like a racetrack of sorts, but it is a zero. Zero is pure potential. It's God energy. It's feminine. It's dark energy. And then masculine energy would be the number one. There are only two numbers in the universe, zeros and ones. It's a binary world that we live in. Think computers. And anything from 2 to 9 is just going to be an iteration of 1. So with this alchemical process in your root to your sacral, the cards indicate that you are creating space of potential. You've done some transformational work in your life. And whether or not you're conscious of this, this is what's happening right now, if this resonates with you. Not all messages will resonate. You'll have to practice discernment and notice the synchronicities. So this change from your sacral to the solar plexus is creating potential. Let's find out. Also, the zero, that feminine energy is introverted intuition, your auxiliary function. And TE, your dominant function, I see it connected to these Bunsen burners. So I feel that you are at this time working with your dominant function and your auxiliary function in a way that is transformative and alchemical. the alchemist. Whether or not you consider yourself a spiritual person, I have to admit that ENTJs, many of them have been mediums, channelers. That ability with their dominant function, that judging function, to look out into the world and see details in systems and in structures, and using it with your auxiliary function of introverted intuition as if you have a crystal ball. Many ENTJs have that ability with those functions. And to be able to see in other people things that those people can't even see in themselves. ENTJs, you're visionaries as well, because of that use of your introverted intuition, which is future-oriented. Which is very akin to a fortune teller, showing what is going to happen in the future, given the energy that fortune teller is reading, or that psychic medium or channeler is reading in the current moment. So I'm feeling already that when I pull the 7 to show what's going on in each of the 7 chakras, here we just looked at the first 3 because the first 3 are fundamental, foundational. We'll find out what's going on in your heart space, your throat space, your third eye, and your crown chakras. We'll talk about how they're all related and how they work together. Wow, that popped out. Excellent. That's in the root. Scorpionic energy, in particular Mars in Scorpio. 5 of Cups. It's fixed water. Scorpionic energy is fixed water. And 5 is a number of the ego. 5 of Cups in other decks can also indicate a healthy, emotional, egoic self. Here, in this image and in this deck, because Mars actually rules over the sign of Scorpio. You may be a Scorpio, you may be a water sign, you might be a fire sign in Mars. It's not gender specific. So if I talk about masculine or feminine, know that we have each in our person. And as an intuitive exercise, it'll be up to you to discern how that energy is currently manifesting in your person, in your life right now. So it need not be a state of sorrow, as this card might indicate. Often with Mars energy, which is action, it's masculine fire energy. And again, it rules Scorpio. Scorpio rules the 8th house of the zodiac, which is all about sex, death, and transformation. And everybody has an 8th house. Everybody has scorpionic energy within their person. This is what astrology teaches us. And I don't consider myself an astrologist as much as I consider myself an astrotheologian. And I didn't even come to that title or that place of knowing until I explored my own egoic cognitive preferences, where I was able to drop into my shadow and subconscious and pull out the things that would help me better move forward in life on my hero's journey, on my destiny, using my cognitive functions. I happen to be, my reported type, or MBTI, is INTP. So you are, or I am an INTP, but the way I present, or my best fit type, is that of the ENTP. So in a way, our meeting is one of complementary, dual relationship, where I hope to show you that there's an INTP inside of you that can be accessed, where you can switch your extroverted thinking, your dominant function, into introverted thinking, which is the dominant function of the INTP. This allows you to take that powerful extroverted thinking that you've been using in your egoic preferences and turn it inward. So you turn that lens that you use to structure your external environment, so you can turn that lens into yourself and restructure, reform your own internal organization. All right, that's in the root. So definite change, definitely in the emotions. The root is best, well, it's earth energy, and here it's water. So I'm already sensing a transformative water energy, most likely in your emotional space, which is your inferior function of FI. What do I value? What makes or gives me pleasure? That's all FI, introverted feeling. And being in the inferior position, it's a function that you don't often utilize because you're so great at understanding the values of the external. Extroverted thinking is about the thinking and the structures of objects in your 3D world. So you want to, as an ENTJ, and I hope this reading will help you, learn to better balance your inferior and dominant functions, and know that sometimes you can't sometimes you'll need to balance out those judging functions so that you can give yourself what you need. You can restructure yourself, turning that extroverted thinking into introverted feeling. In your sacral, which is water energy, it's our seat of intuition, creativity, it's feminine in nature. We have Mercury energy with the 8 of Wands. Mercury in Sagittarius, the planet Mercury, takes 88 days to orbit the sun. It's very quick moving. It's the fastest, fire is the fastest energy in the tarot, in astrology, in the elements. And this Sagittarius rules the 9th house. This is the house of the higher mind. Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, which is all about expansion and learning, and philosophy, is the ruler of the 9th house with Sagittarius, a fire energy. Sagittarius is if high vibing and healthy, is very spiritual. 8 is a number of strength, and it indicates possible travel, definitely communication and movement, or an expression of passion, and even business. As an ENTJ, this is not surprising that the 8 of Wands comes out. fast moving and strong. Oh, look, too. Under these wands, we have these doves. So there's an element of vulnerability and peace that is coming, that is in your sacral chakra right now, along with this masculine fire energy of expression and communication. So moving on to the solar plexus, which is masculine fire energy, we have earth energy in Virgo. We have Venus in Virgo with the 9 of coins. I was talking about numerology. 9 is a number of completion for the self. 10 of coins would be completion of a cycle. This is minor arcana energy, as are the previous 2. So this is happening now, or recently took place. This is the emotional energy that you've been in. So we go from 5 to 8 to 9. This is grounded Virgo energy. Virgo rules the 6th house, which is all about the mind-body connection. It also is the house that relates to the workplace. As an Entj, as a leader, entrepreneur is coming up. I say that there is, if this energy of the 5 of Cups, the scorpionic energy, this transformation, this emotional state in your root chakra, and then this fire masculine energy in your sacral chakra, which is water, is bringing you groundedness in your expression, which doesn't surprise me because you guys are tough as nails, right? With that TE as your dominant function, it's all about the mind and establishing, grounding your external objects, whether they're people, places, or things. Very industrious. Oh, look. And in this image, the 9 of coins, what are they holding? Looks like a dove. This transformational energy of coming out of the sacral chakra for you, the 8 of wands. Yeah, you're transmuting energies, becoming an alchemist. This could mean money, but pentacles represent not only money, but abundance. And abundance is, true abundance is so much more than just tangible items in our life that make us feel secure. It's friendships, it's platonic or romantic, it's feelings of safety and security, being grounded, and also being, it's a great manifesting energy. All right, heart space. Also know too that if you don't know your astrological signs, go online and enter your information. There are several free sites where you can get a complete list of all the planets, all the signs in your astrological chart. It's a typology system, astrology. Think of it this way, that is very similar to MBTI and that theory. It's a means of identifying ourselves that may not be apparent. And by combining all these elements, it's what Jung found out was that all these seemingly disparate parts or typology systems actually cross over quite a bit, actually happen at the same time, and are within us. Once we tap in, once we can TE that, and identify that system, you can then FI that information into yourself to better understand how you are internally structured, which is something that an ENTJ struggles with, right? Because your dominant function is about extroverted systems of structure. Heart space, heart chakra, what's going on? There we go. Palace of Wands. There is no Palace of Wands card in the traditional tarot. In this particular deck, it indicates all of the fire energy within the elements. So incredibly passionate you are right now, ENTJ. I think it has a lot to do with this transmutation of cups energy in your root, and also this masculine fire energy in your sacral, which has grounded you into the 9 of Pentacles, or 9 of Coins, this Virgo energy. Virgo is mutable earth energy. In your heart right now, it's full of a lot of passion, a lot of ideas, maybe around business, maybe around travel and expression. In your throat space, I like this, it's earth energy. Throat chakra is ruled by the sign of Taurus, which is fixed earth energy. Here you have more Virgo energy. In particular, it's Mars in Virgo. So Mars is the planet of action. It's masculine energy. Mars rules Scorpio and Aries. Aries rules the first house of our zodiac. It's cardinal fire energy. So we've seen plenty of that here with the Palace of Wands and the 8 of Wands. And 3 is the first number that can actually create a pattern or create something new from the balanced 1 and 2. Capricorn energy, so Mars in Capricorn. Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is all about our public authority or how the public views us. And as an ENTJ, the public always views you as leaders, and rightly so. Because you can produce, you can create in the 3D world. Very industrious. Entrepreneurship. All right. In your third eye chakra, this is your intuition. The third eye works with your solar plexus of 9 of Pentacles, or Virgo energy. Let's see if and how they're balanced. The Tower, Mars energy, major arcana, and it's in the reverse. There's a Tower card, Tower number 16. The Tower card indicates a destruction of foundation in your life. But it's not, well, it's a death to the foundations, only to clear away those old foundations to build new. And with all this earth energy, Virgo energy, Pentacles, and the 3 of Coins here, I was saying, it's an energy of creation. It came out in the reverse, which means that you could possibly be in this state right now, or reflecting on the transformative process of having your foundations cleared out so that your tower can fall and you can rebuild new foundations in your life. This is good. And last but not least, the crown chakra, which worked with our sacral chakra. And in this reading, we got the 8 of Wands, Mercury in Sagittarius. So what is paired with that? The sacral and the crown chakra work together. If the first three chakras are aligned, that opens up the heart chakra, and then that moves into the throat chakra. I see here that you are doing just that. And in your third eye, you're looking back at the progress you've made and reflecting on it. And crown chakra energy, please. Thank you. Excellent. All right, I like this. So, crown chakra and the Eight of Wands. 8 and 2. This again is this is Jupiter in Capricorn with the Two of Coins. And paired with the sacral chakra of 8 of Wands, 2 and 8 is 10. It's a completion. But also 2 of Coins represents for me, the energy is that of expansion of cardinal earth energy of Capricorn. This is about change, transformation, polarity, duality, balance. But mostly I think I'm going to go with the first message that came out. It's change. This is, it's change. Because on the bottom of the deck, which I always look at as an overview energy of the cards so far in this narrative, you have the Ace of Cups. This is a new start in life, a fresh new start that you have manifested with your higher self, or if you are spiritually inclined, with a higher source of energy. And look here how you're looking out into the world. It's very TE, isn't it? And actually manipulating almost what looks like telekinesis, the material world. And what you have moved around with the destruction of the tower, your foundations, because you intended to build new foundations with this 3 of Coins, has brought you to a place of balance where you know how to change, how to transmute energies, how to destroy and rebuild. This is awesome. And you have built a new start. Cups is Scorpionic, Cancerian, and Piscean energy. 2 of Cups, or Ace of Cups, is all aces, of course, represent the number 1. But all aces are given to you by the universe, or you have co-created this new, fresh outlook on life. This could also indicate a new relationship coming into your life as a result of this internal work that you've done on your ego. This could be a new relationship with your ego, because you've dropped in to your shadow self, into those darker parts where you maybe believed before, you may have believed that it would be a really sad and lonely, difficult, hurtful process, but you found that to be untrue. It may have hurt to drop in to start the work, as it always does. Change does cause us, causes in us some, lots of disappointment or being overwhelmed by our emotions, fear, anxiety. But you have successfully, powerfully, that leader energy, that Capricorn energy of authority, you've manifested a new start in your life. This is really beautiful. I'm going to pull one last card from a deck that I've created. It's a hodgepodge of different things related to astrology, the houses in our zodiacal charts, MBTI and the functions. Intuition, third eye popped out. And the tower was in the third eye position. Transformation, scorpionic energy, Mars energy, Aries energy, the leader, as ENTJs are. Confirmation that your third eye is sharp. Ah, awesome, thank you. Okay, so as I was listening to your cognitive function stack, you may have noticed that I do not prescribe a polarity here to the sensing function because it's the third function. The third function should be open to both SE and SI. Here, SE popped out. This is, thank you. This is with your third eye and looking at the work that you've done, to keep your third eye and your intuition strong, get out in nature, get out into the physical world, and experience the world in nature. Get into your body with this Capricorn energy, this earth energy, which will keep you strong. You know, I lived with an ENTJ before I got into typology, before I became an MBTI certified practitioner. And she was awesome. And she identified as an ENTJ. She and her animals that she had two beautiful dogs, and we were living in Alaska at the time. She would almost daily sometimes take at least 2-3 hours to go on a hike with her animals out in nature. And I could see in her how beneficial it was, because she held a place of authority in her life where she was near the very top of her department in negotiating, oil lease and contracts in the Arctic in Alaska. One last message for my lovely ENTJs before we call it quits. 2 popped out. 12th house Pisces, Neptune, Mercury. Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. 12th house is a collective house. Houses 10, 11, and 12 are not personal houses. Houses 1 through 9 are personal. So Aries through Sagittarius are personal houses. Once we tap into the energy of our 10th, 11th house, we move into the public perception of us in the 10th house. And the authority that we hold in the world in our 10th house is seen by others. And our 11th house is a house of humanitarianism, philanthropy, collective conscience, the internet. It's ruled by Aquarius. We're leaving the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And the 12th house is the underworld. It's mutable water energy that in the world, because we're leaving the age of Pisces and moving into the age of Aquarius. Piscean energy, or the age of Pisces, is replete with secrets, with mystery. It's also a house that represents death in a way. It represents deceit. secrets, and some of the darker aspects of the collective. I'm talking social systems that are corrupt. So government, local, state, federal, nations. It's also associated with obsessions and addictions and darker elements of our society, like taboo elements or groups of our society, like human traffickers, organ traffickers. And it also represents dreams and the psyche as well. Being mutable water energy. And the only water that showed up was in your root chakra. This is fixed water. So I see this as a good sign for you. Oh, and the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo. And we had plenty of Virgo energy here in the 9, in your sacral. So you're moving from fixed water, scorpionic energy, and moving with Mars energy, because Mars energy is action and war and destruction, here seen in the Tower card in your third eye. You're moving from fixed water into 12th house Piscean energy, which is mutable water. You're able to transmute or become unstuck in the emotional body. And this opens up. Pay attention to your dreams. Jot them down when you wake up and track them because your higher self, the universe, sends you messages. Exactly, Mercury. Neptune, the planet Neptune, which is all about intuition, rules over the 12th house of Pisces. Neptune, the planet, within the last week, moved back into the sign of Pisces. Neptune is intuition. It is water energy that can destroy old systems, old foundations with the power of water. Think the Great Flood. And I think that's showing up here in the Tower card for you, reformation of your systems, your foundations. Oh, and look at that. We have the SE and I axis, again, affirming what I suggested for you. Get out in nature, stay in your body as much as possible with all this mutable energy in you right now, in your life. Seek to maintain a healthy balance in your perceiving functions. And because they're your second and third position, you actually have more control over them. So what this means is, when you are taking in information through your dominant function of extroverted thinking, be sure to spend time observing those objects before proceeding, before making a decision. You need not rush to a decision. and can relax, moving from the 8 of Wands to the 9 of Earth. SE, extroverted sensing, is the 3D world. It is nature. It is Earth. Spend more time in balancing your observations so that you don't make rash decisions. I think you've been doing this very well. So I hope you receive some messages, some insight into your cognitive functions and how you are not just your MBTI. There are 4 parts to your cognitive preferences, expressed through your shadow MBTI of INTP, your subconscious MBTI of ISFP, and your superego of ESFJ. The subconscious and the superego are sensing MBTIs. Again, this Earth, it's really important for you to remain in your body, to better balance out your intuition. These are both perceiving functions. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like it and subscribe to the channel. I will have more readings for all the intuitive dominant MBTI types and more for you, my lovely ENTJ. In addition to, I will do readings similar to this for all the signs of the zodiac. And I will also get into numerology through readings related to our sacred numerology, our life path number, or if you're a fan or practitioner of the Enneagram, the so-called Enneagram, I'll explain how that and how these seemingly disparate systems are actually working together at the same time. Just like the different MBTI preferences that you have, in addition to your egoic cognitive preferences of the ENTJ. So please like and share it with other MBTI friends, and please subscribe. I would appreciate building a collective with you, building a relationship where you can safely be triggered by these messages in a conscious way so that you can better learn discernment and better learn about your cognitive preferences, why you make the decisions you do. All right. Take care, and I hope to see you in the next reading.